All right, in this problem, I have a system of two blocks, and I'm pushing with some force. And these two blocks have different masses, and I want to know what's the magnitude of the force with which one block pushes on the other. So I'm looking for the force here that the big block is pushing on the little block, right? And so just to get this out of the way, this cannot be the same force as this, because if it was, this force is pushing the big force, right? That big force pushes big M plus little m, right? So this force here, the red force, that only pushes little m. So if these two forces were the same, then what would happen is when you push over here, this block would fly off, which makes no damn sense, right? But the way to solve this is it's just a proportion, right? So the ratio of the masses is going to be equal to the ratio of the forces. Okay, so the way to solve this is to figure out how much your little mass is of your total. So so the ratio of little mass to total mass is going to equal, well, so that's the same thing as the ratio of little mass over big M plus little m, right? So in this case, my ratio of masses is 1 over 9 plus 1. So 9 plus 1. So that's 1/10, right? So this little mass, little m, is 1/10 of the total mass. Okay, so that means that my little force is going to be 1/10 of my total force, right? Because these have to have the same proportion from F equals ma or A equals net force over mass, right? They got to have the same proportion. So that means that my force on the little mass is going to equal 1/10 of my total force. So that's 1/10 of 40. So 1/10 of 40 is 4 newtons in my case. So if this is 40 newtons, that means this force here is 4 newtons that it's pushing on that one. And there's another way you could do it, right? If you wanted to, like, check this, you could write an equation. So I could call this whole thing big M plus little m, and here's force, right? So I could say the acceleration is my force over my mass, which is big M plus little m. So that's my acceleration is 40 over the sum of the masses is 10, right? 9 plus 1 is 10. So my acceleration is 4 meters per second squared. And then what you could do is go say, okay, I'm only going to look at that block, right? So my unknown red force is equal to mass times acceleration. And acceleration is 4, right? And mass is 1, right? So that's 1. So 1, right? That equals 1 times 4. That's 4 newtons. Wow, same answer, right? Wow, it's like math works.